Welcome to iFetch Rocks. I'm GokouZWAR. We're going to start a new game today, and we're going to show you how to do the initial tutorial. And that way you can understand how to work some of the systems. Start off in a cold and dark room. First thing we're going to do is we're going to pull our little start thing and start our motor. Alright, grab our datapad. Alright. First task is to grab the symbol at the bottom of right of this page and move to page 2, which is that one. We click here. We read this stuff and it tells you that there's still one down there. We read the next thing. And now the next thing is to grab the highlighted large power cable using your manipulator spheres and plug in the end of the cable socket to the highlighted power socket. This will power the next room and unlock the next part of the tutorial. So we're going to turn around here. We find that this plug over here is unplugged. We're going to grab it, plug it in right there. Okay. Dismiss this, grab our datapad, we can pull it over here. Alrighty, so we are here. This is telling us all about these right here. We're in this room right here. There's another room here. There's one here in the middle, 2 on each side, and then one here and one here. The next room is the engine room, and we activate that by clicking the door button. Alright, so now we're in the engine room. Go ahead and hit this. And we're already in the next room, so it's already going to jump forward. All right, move to the next room, which is the hub. The hub is in the center of the ship. All right. It's the central point of the room. Thrusters are on each side over here. And it wants us to go into this side thruster room. We're going to go over here, check the datapad. Limiters are all set to 25% for a reason, because if you try to increase the power, they will overpower your motor and die. Until you get some upgrades, you can't really do much with those. So we're not going to worry about those right now. That's just letting us know, don't do that. Alright, it's telling us to pull our sphere out, and we're going to grab data cable, distribution cables, material, 2 small data cables. So we're going to go to here. And cables and data cable. There's a data cable. We're going to grab the other one. All right, so it wants us to plug in the data cable here and plug it in up here. All right, and the next one is to do the same for this one. All right. Uh-oh, our powers are dead. What do we do? What we're going to do is there's a power cord up here. We're going to take our datapad and we're going to plug it in right here. And now we have light. This will allow you to get temporary light for your room. Alright, so let's see. Damage indicators are here on this thing. You see this panel right here is destroyed. So we're going to repair that pad here. This tells you all the different types of damage. As you can see, this one's fully red. So that means it's completely destroyed. The green ones here are good, basically. Yellow ones are damaged. They take radiation damage when you go out into the radiation sphere. You just want to be careful about going out too far from the space station. All right, so we're going to remove the offline power splitter and store it in the inventory. We're going to take this guy right off the wall right here. We can bump it with our pad here, get it out of the way. And take it and store it in our inventory. All right. So now we're going to replace the power splitter, and we're going to look in our power distribution splitter. We're going to pull our thing out here like this. Power distribution splitter and small power splitter right here. All right, it's a brand new one. It's working good. We'll just stick it up here on the wall. I don't know if that's where we actually need it, but now we're going to plug in our door. This is a male port, female port. We're going to need to get the power too, I guess. Well, actually we can do this. Where's our power for this anyway? Where are you selecting modules? Replace the power splitter and reconnect the cables to the light and the door. Well, we connected the light and the door. Here it is. All right, so this is for the light, and the door can go here. And there we go. All right, so now we're going to back to the life support. Also, you'll notice you can do this here if you hit this this button right here. That will extend your touchy pad so you don't have to, like physically reach over and press the door if you don't feel like doing it. If you're in a seated position, you can do that there as well with the extender rod here. All right, check the Datapad. This is the life support room. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to do some work on this thing. We're going to create an alarm, from what I understand here. So it's talking about this thing here, and I'll talk about that here in just a second. Let's get on to what our task is. Okay, yeah, we're going to build our alarm. So what this is here is our life support system. This thing over here will sense the amount of gases in the room, and we've got carbon monoxide, oxygen, and carbon dioxide. It's currently hooked up to the oxygen sensor. So the oxygen sensor is sending 21% to this display box to tell us there's 21% oxygen in the room. And then it goes over to here, which is a trigger box. This trigger box is set to start when this is at 15%. So when this reaches 15%, because it's on the input side, this is sending right now 21% to this thing. And so when it gets to 15%, it's going to start the power. So the power is hooked up to this box, which is also then hooked up to this box. So when this gets below 15%, it will trigger the start of this machine. And this machine basically will replace carbon dioxide with oxygen by taking one oxygen molecule out of the carbon dioxide and then putting oxygen back in the room and then creating carbon monoxide. So what that carbon monoxide does is it gets stuck to this pad right here. This thing is our carbon scrubber, filter, whatever you want to call it. You have a spare one in here in your consumables, carbon bond plate, that's what that is. Well, you will have a spare one later on. But so then also when it gets to 20%, it will turn the machine off automatically. That's what this whole little system does. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create an alarm for this system. And that's what it's telling us to do here. So we'll follow the instructions. There are icons that tell us what all the different things mean on this screen here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the scrubber, the carbon bonded plate, we're going to put it into an inequalities, and then we're going to set it to a dial at 20%, and then hook that up to the speaker so that when the carbon bonded plate here gets below 20%, it will send a tone through this thing to let us know it's time to replace the filter. All right, so what we do is we're going to pull out all these things. So we need 3 distribution cables, data cables, 1, 2, 3. You can't spawn them on top of each other, so you got to keep that in mind. Controllers dial, so that's in controllers, dials, 1 dial controller. And then we're going to need power cable. So we're going back to power, distribution cables, power cable. There's our power cable. And then we need a math processor. Going back to processing, math, arithmetic. Sorry, no, this is a scoped, Scoped inequalities. This basically is just a greater than or less than. Put that on the wall. Put this on the wall right below it. All right, so then we've already got the speaker attached, so that's the next stage. Okay, so now we're going to hook up our system. So we need to take one of our cables here. First, we're going to plug it in here. Now the diagram tells us we're going to put it on the inside greater than. So we're looking for the inside. Then we're going to take the next one, put this on the greater than. Sorry, wrong side. All right, and we're going to put that on here. And then the next one is to put the data on the tone. On this one, sorry, which one is it? It's actually the other way around. We got to do it over here. So we're doing the one with the arrows up and down, which is this one. And we're going to hook it in on the outside over here. So what this does is it will now do this. We also have to give it power. So hook up this power right here. All right. So now this machine is now powered on. This we had set to 20%. This is the step I forgot. All right. So now, and as you can see, you hear the tone, the low tone like that. That is the machine letting us know that it is time to replace the filter. Of course, we took the filter out, so that's why it did it. So it reached a 0%. So now that is how that works. All right, so now Testing this by switching the dial to 100%. Okay, so that's how we test it. We basically put it all the way up to 100%. That's how you test it. There it goes. All right. So now the next task is to go back to the cockpit. We're going to set this back. I like actually having it at 10%. You should, as a new player, you should definitely have this at 20% so that you can have time to come back here. When I hear that tone, I basically come back here and start working. So, all right, we're going up to the cockpit now. This is where all the magic happens. All right, so it's going to teach us about the controls. So we're going to follow the tools tips for all the controls. This is the controller stick for the left, and so it wants us to move left. I'm going to put this back over here. So we want to straight, this turns us left, and this turns us right. All right. So this one is to roll. So you're going to roll the ship to the left, and then roll the ship to the right. This one here does pitching up and down, so we're going to pitch forward. Oh, we want to pitch up first, actually. All right, so we're pitching up, and now we're going down. All right, and here's our thrusters. So we're going to set this to maximum. That makes us go forward. And you notice that your speed is over here, and your acceleration is here. This is the dampener, so when you turn that off, you set this to maximum, you will continue to accelerate up to full speed. When you turn it off, you maintain your speed, is what it's telling you. So now it's telling us to turn the dampeners back on. Okay, more information on the flight in your flight manual, which you'll get access to after you complete the tutorial, by the way. All right, and this one is the reverse thrusters, which does the exact opposite of what the forward does. And you can set to different speeds and whatnot. All right, and so these are our translation controls. This makes us go the full ship up and full ship down. This one makes our ship go full on one way and the other. So we're going to do those features next. Let's see, which way does it want to do? Oh, it just says do that. Okay, translate up. We're translating up, so the ship is going up. And now we're going to translate down. So now the ship's coming down. And now we're going to translate to port, so just going this way. You can see your direction of travel here by this. This is the velocity meter. It points to where you're going. This little arrow here is the back, and that's the front. So we're actually going that way. As long as these stay off, that basically goes away. When you don't see the arrow in there like now, it means you're not moving at all. All right, so now we're working with the Spectroscope, the laser-based analyzer. It tells us to check the Datapad. We'll see what the Datapad wants. I'm pretty sure I know what it wants, yeah. Okay, so we're going to scan a rock. All right, so these are the switches. Make sure we're not moving, because it does use a significant amount of power, especially at this level of the game. You're very low. Okay, so the controller here moves the laser around. All right, so we're going to point it at this rock here. We're going to be working with that one in just a minute, I bet. Oh, here. So let's move that around. Okay, so now we're going to select the element. So it wants us to select iron, which is the 26th item in the periodic table. That's how you can figure that out if you don't want to do that. So what we do is we're going to make 26. So 16, 8, and 2 make iron. So it tells us we have iron. We also now have a blue laser coming out, and it's shooting at that, which now gives us information about how much iron is in that rock, the size of the rock, and how far away it is. That's what all these things are telling us. All right. This button down here allows us to lock onto that target, which changes this guy right here, tells us exactly where that rock is. So we're pointing right at that rock. All right, once the rock has been locked, press the highlight button. Okay, we're going to throw that thing into the processing plant. So these buttons set your target as a plant. That will lock on the target of the plant, which we're not going to do just yet. This display shows the distance to the rock. I already talked about that. And that tells us exactly where that is. So if you lose where that is, then you're fine. All right. It wants us to set the target of the station, which I don't really understand why, but okay. So we're going to locate the highlighted main computer at the rear of the cockpit, which is back here. All right. So now we're going to accept a contract. We're going to select this contract right here. They want 15 kilotons of iron. We're going to click accept, and it's telling us we don't have enough. We don't have enough stuff in the processor, which is over there, that big ring thing. And so we're going to put some in there. This is our tether. It shoots a spike into the rock, and it will give us the information. And when we're in range to spike a rock, this will say true. That's what it's telling us right there. So now we're going to move our ship so that the rock is directly above us. Or, sorry, below us. All right, so we're going to turn off our dampeners. going to thrust forward. The rock has moved. We're a little closer to it now. Alright, when we get right over the rock, then we'll just turn our dampeners on. Oops. Pull it off. I'll have to back up now. No big deal. No big deal. Just do our reverse thruster. It's a little slower than the other one. Alright. Now we're in perfect range with this distance for this thing to work. We're going to wait till our ship comes to a complete stop here. And we're going to hit this button right here, which sends a tether down to the rock. Watch. And as you can see, there's now a spike that has gone into the rock. Alright, this tells us it's successfully attached if it says true. So when those are both true, that means we're attached to a rock. We can move the rock as long as we stay under 0.15 meters per second acceleration. This rock will stay attached to us. Otherwise, that spike will break off. So we definitely don't want to go too fast. Guarantee you at this level of the game, you're not going to go too fast because your thrusters do not take you that fast. Alright. So now we're going to lock onto the processing plant, which now makes sense to click this button down here, but whatever. So now we're attached, we're aimed right at that thing. And so we're going to take this rock and we're going to toss it into there. I'm going to turn off my thruster here. We're going to go full speed forward. I'm going to get us up to, 3 to 4 meters per second. And then we're going to just disable those. That's fast enough. It's floating like this. Inertia will carry the rock directly into it. So we're going to press this button here and release the rock. And then we're going to turn on our dampeners. And the rock will go all by its lonesome into there. I don't think I have any other tasks at the moment. It says lock on the processing pack, navigate toward it, and follow the tooltips. I think it actually wants you to actually go into it with it. You don't have to do that. So I don't know if I'm going to go ahead and do that. Just go do this. If you're not attached to a rock, you move a lot faster. That's the only reason why I did this. But objectively, we're trying to get it into this shimmering net right here, okay? So the rock is still flying forward. Inertia will take it all the way in. I mean, we don't have to do anything at this point. It's going to go all the way in. I'm going to turn this off here. We don't need that running. And then once it gets caught by the net here, it will start to glow. It's a very small rock. And there it goes. We just got it caught by the net. It's going to suck it all the way in. And once it's sucked all the way in, plunk. Alright, so lock on the processing and navigate towards it and follow the tooltips. I think I have now broken the tutorial because I've not gone in with it. It wants me to go in with it, which, yeah, I don't like doing that. I don't like going into this thing. You really don't have to. I don't know why they don't just tell you to do this. But we're going to navigate inside it. It doesn't hurt your ship or anything like that. You can go all the way through it. Okay, there we go. This is the catch net. It lets you know that you're caught by the catch net. Alright. Alright, so now we've untethered the rock already, so we're going to skip that step. Let's see what else we got. The rock will be positioned automatically to let us know. We're going to reverse out. We have to go all the way in, and then we're going to reverse out, which makes so much sense. Alright, now we're outside the catch net. I'm going to keep going a little bit further, though. Go ahead and disable that. We're going fast enough. Alright, so our next task is to go to the main computer and follow the tooltips to process the rock. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is select the processing plant, and we're going to make sure it's configured for iron because that rock is iron. And then we're going to click Start Processing, and now we see the magic. It's all doing its sparklies and whatnot. Now over here, it's processing the rock. It's putting this amount of ore into the rock, and this is how far along it is. And you can see it gets smaller and smaller and smaller until eventually it goes away completely. Oop, gone. All right. All right, so we have processed now 20 kilotons of iron. So we're going to Go back to home. And now it says contracts. So the contract we assigned earlier wants 15 kilotons. We're going to click accept, complete, and now we have 2,000 bucks. Okay. We're going to purchase and repair items from our ship. In order to do that, we've got to fly back to the station. So we're going to do that. All right, so our lighted port is going to tell us where to go. That is where we want to go. So we're going to use our translation controls to just fly over that way. First off, we're going to disable our inertial dampeners, and we're going to start thrusting this way. All right, the ship will stop very quickly when you turn off your dampener, so it doesn't really matter how fast you go. I've been able to get all the way up to like 50 meters per second, and I pull that thing and it just pulls you to an instant stop. So don't worry about trying to go too fast. But the way they've got it lined up, you're perfectly lined up with the top of that little thing. So you just kind of scoot over and then you're just going to fly straight in. It's not that hard. Just use your translation controls, pull it toward you. And then when we're ready, we'll just thrust forward. Okay, so we're almost lined up now. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my inertial dampeners. Should be pretty well lined up here. We stop pretty quick. Now we're straight ahead. Turn the dampeners off and we'll thrust forward to go in. When you're in space, things are slow. Now, if you're too close to one side or the other, you can always use your translation controls to kind of scoot yourself over a little bit. But remember, they don't slow you down, so you'll keep going in that direction until you cancel out your side motion. You can use this thing right here to kind of tell you how you're doing. The little red highlight means you're going directly along the center of the line in your direction of travel. And you can ignore this one here. This is targeted at the big disc thing out there, which we don't need to worry about it. Now we're going inside. All right, you're in the dock. Now we want to stop. Let's get all this stuff out of the way. Let's go ahead and pull the brake. That's space brake. That's what that is, space brake. Both of these right here, this one will work your turning controls. So if you turn left and right, if you have this one off, it will continue to roll even when you don't have anything engaged. So you just continue to roll and you just turn that back on and it will stop your roll. That works with your steer and your roll in all directions. If you leave it on, you have to hold the thing. Otherwise, when you let go, your rotation or turning will stop. All right. So we are now inside the thing. We're going to go to the store and we're going to buy some stuff over here. All right. So it wants me to purchase a spare carbon bond plate. I recommend buying about 5. No more than 5. I bought 14 on my first playthrough thinking I was going to need a lot. No, I have not used more than 5 on any of my missions, and I've been out there for quite some time. So, yeah, you don't need to do that. But we're going to go to consumables. We're going to buy a carbon bond plate to fill the basket. We're going to review basket. Shows us the 1 is in there. We can actually click this again to buy more. If you click remove, it'll take away just 1. So you can buy as many as you want. I'm going to buy 5. And that's costs $1,000 of my $2,000 to start with. Okay, I purchased them. Now they're in my inventory. There they are. I have 5 carbon bond plates that I can now use. Now, say for instance you want to sell one. I'll go a little bit further on this tutorial. If you want, you can click refund items until you leave the dock. As long as you don't leave the dock, you can refund anything you've just purchased. If you leave the dock, it's yours permanently. There's no way to sell it back. At least I haven't been able to figure that out. So if you want to do that, then you just click refund. Say I only want 2 now, and they've been refunded. Going to consumables, now I only have 2. Okay, so that's how you can, if you buy too much all at once, or you want to play with something, just stay in the dock. You can buy all you want as long as you have the money for it, of course, and then you can do whatever. So I've got 2 for right now. That should be more than enough for me for the next set of things. Okay, so we also want to do repairs. So we're going to go to store and we're going to go back, station facilities, repair. And what this does is it will repair those carbon filters in there and keep them from being damaged. If you have carbon monoxide in your air, this is how you purge it. And that just purges just the ship's air, not anything else. This is the only thing you really need to do to repair your ship. Once you're out, you can see on here, if you go to, sorry, I don't want to quit the tutorial, but okay. In your Datapad, there's a way to look at your damage, and I'll show you that in a minute as soon as we're done with the tutorial. But okay, store has the ability to repair all damaged items, so we're going to do that. Purchase the repair located under facilities, which we've done. It's under here, station facilities, repair all. We're going to review the basket. We're going to purchase that. Okay, now it wants us to save the game, so we're going to go ahead and save the game. Now here's where you see the damage status right there. See, this is your damage status. It'll show all parts that are damaged right here, and it will show those carbon filters in that other room as well. All right, so we're going to go to save, and then you can see I've got 17 hours in my longest one, and you just click the new save and then click save. Okay. All right, task select manual. So it wants us to return to the home page on the Datapad. Okay, so it tells us this is where the manual is. So there's the ship manual. The module manual tells you all about all the different consumables. It'll tell you all the stuff about what it does, how everything works in here. So this is really helpful. Definitely read over some of this stuff if you want to learn how to play the game. The ship manual here will tell you how to work all the different components of the ship, including the very important magnetosphere. This thing here will protect your ship from the radiation. So definitely read over this so you know how to do that. All right, so once we go back to home, and congratulations, we are now part of the tutorial. With a little bit extra from me. Hopefully it will be helpful for you. And if you like this video, be sure you hit that like button. And if you want to see more of this content, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And then I'll make some more videos if you like that. And we'll go into a little bit further into what I've done, because I've done a lot of stuff on my full game. And so be sure to come back later. And thanks again. We'll see you next time.